Hey folks, how you doing? I had a download that came in yesterday and it was basically this, and I'm going to simplify it. We really underestimate the power of what a global event or a local community event can have on us going forward in our lives. This isn't about things that you're directly connected into. It's about things you see on the news. So nobody that you know has been involved in it. It's just like a war, or say it's something like 9/11, or the death of Diana, or the death of JFK, or a shooting in a school, etc., etc., etc. And a lot of the time, for some people, will watch that and will have a real impact, and it'll have an impact on us for quite some time. We'll talk about it, we'll ponder it, we may cry over it, we may become scared by it, we may become despondent by it. And then we start to move on with life and we start to go forward. But what we don't realise is there's traces of that can stay within us, and they can affect us in various different ways going forward. This is also predominantly so when something happens during our childhood or teenage years, when you're at your most formative, you're at your most vulnerable, especially during teenage years when everything is heightened, everything is felt, everything is new, the world is new. You're still working out your place in the world. You may have certain crutches, you may have certain famous people that are your crutches, that are your comfort blanket. And say something happens to that famous person, it can cause a knock-on effect for years. And allowing people to have their reactions to certain things. We're all guilty of this, me included. Something happens in the world and we're all going to react to it differently. We're all going to feel different things, sense different things, pick up on different things. We're all unique. We've all got similarities, but we're also unique. So that means that obviously we're gonna go through the process and the situation all different, and throughout that process we're gonna feel and experience different things, and that's normal. Sometimes we can have huge flare-ups. You can see people going into anxious and fear and combativeness and fight or flight, and we may look at people, or maybe even look at ourselves when we find ourselves doing that, thinking, what's going on there? It's only a news article. Why am I having this reaction? It's because it's traced back to some type of wounding. It can be traced back to a previous event. So let's give you an example. Say you're a teenager, and I remember I think it was when I was a teenager, or when I was about 10 and 11, I think. I don't know. And there was a shooting in Scotland, I think it was Dunblane. And it was basically a guy went into a school and did his worst. And say you become a parent and you move on from that, and then your child starts their first day at school, you can start to experience anxiety, and all kinds of things can come up within you that you think, wow, especially if you're not an anxious person, you can start to think, why is this happening? Why do I feel like this? Why am I having this reaction? What, same as well when 9/11 happened and people reported comments and stories about people that had been on the phone to loved ones, either on the plane or in the building, and then there was a cutout. And that must have been horrific for those, well, for both, those that were on the plane or in the building, or those that were at home or at work. And we hear those stories and they get us, and they get us in the heart space. But actually they also affect us going forward, because you may not realise it. Say you're on the phone to your teenager and all of a sudden the line cuts out, or you're on your phone to your partner and the line cuts out. There's still that residual. So this isn't about going into, oh my God, how are these global events affecting me? It's about allowing yourself to go through the process. And it's about allowing people to have their process. So take this forward into when there's sexual harassment cases going on within the world, and certain things are coming up about that. If someone's got that within their past, they could have a flare-up in that moment. They could have a flare-up whilst it's going on. And you may look at someone and go, God, what's going on with them? Why are they reacting like that? What's happening? There's no need for this reaction. Allow them to have that reaction, because it's not always about the event. It's about what the event symbolises to them. Also as well, two people can read the same book. They'll read the same book, and one person may love the book, one person may not be so keen. So two friends get together and they say, I'm about to read this book, what did you think of it? And, oh no, say they've both read it, they get together, and one person says to the other person, what do you think of it? And they say, I wasn't that keen, they've done better work. And you automatically say, well, I liked it. Well, I think they're innocent. Well, I think they're guilty. We're all guilty of this. We can all do this without even realising we're doing it. And straight away the other person feels invalidated. Then what happens is they come back. And that's one of the reasons we've got so much, I mean, there's vast reasons why there's so much conflict in the world at this time. So allowing people the space, the respect and the dignity to experience the world that they need to experience it in the way that they need to experience it, and being at peace with all the different narratives within other people's lives, but also with your own lives. And yeah, and observing how things can affect us and bring all kinds of insecurities, and being present with yourself in that moment and allowing that to happen and not denying what you're feeling. You can also work with your guides with this. So you can ask your guides to come forward in meditation, your guides of light, to help to cleanse you, to help to just ground you. You know, I've talked about the safe space within the heart that you can make when you're feeling anxious. I said, you know, you can use it in the middle of a supermarket. You go shopping, you start to feel anxious. We did a video, didn't we, where we made a garden, and we go to that garden energetically in our mind when we're feeling it, whatever it is, and just allowing yourself to step back. Also be at peace with not always having to have your opinion in there or being heard. It's tricky at the minute. It's very tricky at the minute. Sage, smudging, crystals, grounding, being honest with yourself. This is triggering me because it's reminded me of A, B, C, D. Or this is triggering me because this happened as a teenager and now it's affecting me like this. Don't try to deny it or push it down. Thanks for watching. Love to all. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.